Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on my show, we have an opportunity to talk with a designer of outdoor living spaces. If there's artwork for walls and for museums, then your backyard can also be a canvas as well. Steve Griggs. Steve, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Dylan. Looking forward to it.
Before we hopped on here, we were talking a bit, and I said, "Well, what is someone like you? How can I introduce you?" And you said, to me, like, "Look, if there's art that you would hang up, you can have a canvas for your backyard." And I think that really puts it clearly in my mind, because oftentimes when we think about where we're living, we don't think about the space around the home.
That's correct. Most people are focused on the inside and not as much on the outside, right?
Now, you've been involved in this for 40 years. You mentioned you work with, high-end clientele. How did you get into this space 40 years ago?
I went to college for landscape architecture, came out, and basically it started with the wheelbarrow, and everybody keeps asking me, well, how do you get those big jobs? You have to have patience. It takes time for people to trust you. You have to have the confidence, and you have to know what you're doing and talking about, right? You can't fake the funk, right? As they say, you're not going to fake somebody giving you $500,000 to go into their backyard if you don't know what you're doing.
Now, when you were starting out, did you see the vision for what it is today, or did that change over time?
It just evolved.
It just evolved.
It just evolved. I mean, jobs just got bigger and bigger, right?
When I think about, as a real estate developers, real estate investors, I'm a wholesaler and an agent. There's not like one set trajectory or growth path, the way that people can scale. But I think about my journey. I was working for Nissan and was just seeing my rents go up and up. And I said, well, how can I can't really beat them, but maybe I can join them. So I started wholesale. Wholesale is, selling contracts during an executory period. And then I'm seeing people go from wholesale to fix and flip, from fix and flip to maybe they own a couple Airbnbs, maybe some corporate housing long term. And then people sometimes graduate from that and go into commercial, or they buy notes and so on and so forth. How did your business evolve over time? You mentioned, it was kind of a natural growth. Was there certain pivot points that you can point to where it was like, this really changed things in my business?
Sure. I mean, it all started out with design, right? It started out with, everything starts with a good design, right? So without a design, it means nothing. So when you design it, what was happening is you have this beautiful design, but the execution of the design was flawed, right? So trying to have another company interpret your design, too many areas for confusion, especially in a custom job where it's really an art form, not just planting bushes on a commercial building.
Right. So, in your line of work, I'm imagining there's a lot of feedback that you're getting from clients, right? Because if it's a custom space, they probably have maybe an idea. Right now, of course, social media, everyone's on social media, so they may be seeing different designs. What's the feedback process like between clients and yourself to plan their dream space?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So, now with social media, everybody, the wives and the husbands are showing me their scrolls on Pinterest, right? They're showing me these beautiful backyards. And I think some of the issue is they don't really know what that takes to get there, right? Like the cost, the maintenance, right? So you really need to educate them on what it really takes to get that magazine worthy backyard, to keep it that way, right? You can do a beautiful job. If you don't do the proper maintenance, it goes to shit in like no time.
I've
Right.
seen
And
some.
really listening, really, I really get in bed with the clients, and you gotta get in their head. You gotta get their vision, because they don't know what they really want. They don't.
I've seen some of these spaces. I mean, incredible, right? So of course you might have a big pool, but you'll also have like cabanas. You'll have like an outdoor grill area. You'll have lights. It almost like has a different vibe, in the evening versus the day. And then that doesn't even go into like the land itself and how that's been developed. I've also seen some people really transform not necessarily sprawling backyards, but just areas in general, in some really super creative ways. So it seems like you have to have some level of vision, but you also have to have some expectations, right? Because if it's a larger space, you can do a little bit more than what you can do with a smaller space.
That's correct. But you want to create this vision, so obviously it fits the space. And to make this, there's lots of tricks that you can do to make the space appear bigger. Different. You want to create different areas. You know, focal points, so the space appears bigger. We do sprawling estates, and we also do rooftops in Manhattan where the spaces are small, right? I think you want to design a space where it fits the customer's lifestyle, because when you're done and you're gone, you're kind of gone, right? More or less, but they're living in it every day, so you want to make sure it's functional, and it fits their lifestyle.
I had someone
Enhances their lifestyle. It's really what we do.
I had someone tell me that I have the pool. I don't use it every day, but I see it every day. And I was,
Most people don't really swim in it every day.
but
So basically, the pool, it's like the kitchen in your home.
right,
Everybody gathers around. It's the focal point. So the water feature is the focal point for sure. That's just
right.
like the icing on the cake is the pool, and then everything else ties around it. So you can't have a beautiful pool, but if the landscaping isn't right, the lighting isn't right, it doesn't give it that same wow factor.
That's exactly right. And when I think about that, it's really about the artwork of it. It's like knowing you have the pool. It's going by and seeing it every day. It's like you might not, drive the car every day if it's the high-end car, but you see it in your garage every day. Similar type of concept, except it's a space. You can walk through it. How many people, Steve, are going into purchasing a home with this idea in mind that they're gonna develop the space versus they've maybe bought the home and then now they're looking at, I'm gonna develop the space after I've purchased a home.
Well, it comes down to cost, right? So if you're going to buy a home, um, budget's a factor, right? So,
Yeah.
if they purchase a home for $1 million, maybe they're out of money. Maybe they want to wait a couple of years. When we do a new build, a lot of times I'll tell the client, like, don't build the backyard right away. Live in this space for a while. Like, live in the space, see what you really need, right? Get the feeling of the new home, and then we can come back next year, replenish your funds. Do it once, do it right. Don't try to shove it all in and be done with it. You know, we're in the world of Amazon now. Everybody wants to click it
Immediate.
and be done, right? Listen, that's the best job for a home builder or developer, turnkey, right? I don't want to be dealing with contracts. I want to come in and I want to have the space fully done. That's
So
been a big turn too.
you're in New York. I'm from New Jersey. I'm Dallas by way of New Jersey, and it's a different climate out there. It's cold a lot of the year. So how are people utilizing these spaces? And is half of the year, are they not able to utilize it? Are some people doing it where they can utilize the space even when it's cold?
Sure, you have hot tubs, you have automatic pool covers that keep the pool clean in the fall when all the leaves are falling. Um, Lately, we've been pavilions, fireplaces inside the pavilion, heaters in the pavilion, big screen TVs, um, basically outdoor offices, let's say. People
Yeah.
work from home now. They want to have a space where they can kind of plug into the laptop and work from home. So basically, all we're doing is we're doing an expansion of the home. We're in New York or wherever. The properties could be big, could be small, but the taxes are super high, right? Taxes are high. So I try to tell everybody, maximize every square inch of your property, right? Well, why just limit it to the in four walls? Extend it outside. Put big sliding doors, those nano doors where the whole wall opens up and it's glass, and the outside actually comes in and the inside actually goes out. So it's actually an expansion of the home.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Wow. Yeah, that's a beautiful concept. You said something about having an outdoor office. I've actually thought it because I'm on a ranch here in Dallas and North Dallas in a town called Denton. And I've thought about this quite a bit. I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could kind of host this podcast outdoors, if you will? We've got farm animals on the ranch. We've got some cattle. We've got some roosters, some goats, and it's just nice looking at them. But I'm
That would
inside,
be cool. Should be
But
outside, man.
I should
What are
be
you doing
outside.
inside?
That's what I'm saying. I need a Steve Griggs out here to design
I travel. You can get those misters, the air conditioner misters that mist cold air on you on those nice hot summer days with a ceiling fan. You could be outside all.
This is what
Outside podcasts would be so cool.
that would be a game changer. The thing that we would have to figure out is wind is a factor. So there'd have to be some way, because even in here, if I have the AC pointed at the microphone, it makes things difficult. So I'd have to game plan for the wind. But I've thought about it a lot.
Big plexiglass, big sheets of
Yeah, have it hang
plexiglass.
down. Well, we've got the
Yeah,
idea. Now I got to just build the studio out here.
that's it.
But I'm curious, a lot of people, I'd say, after COVID specifically and during COVID specifically, we saw this kind of remote lifestyle become more and more common. And I don't know if you maybe saw an uptick in your business, but I definitely saw an uptick online of these spaces becoming more, at least more popular. I was seeing, we mentioned one of the designers that I saw out in California before hopping on here, and I was thinking, I've been seeing a lot more of this on my feed, and I'm not really even in the space. Have you seen this? That because of COVID and because people are working more from home, that people are actually more inclined to really make these spaces their dream spaces than they were maybe past times.
I think COVID has really helped my business tremendously, right? Because I think people really value outdoors. Because in New York City, I remember you were locked down; you couldn't go anywhere. Now it's like, so people really appreciate the outdoors now. Nature, fragrant flowers, butterfly gardens. Like
Yeah.
they just are getting a sense of, and they're coming back to the real root of everything, where I need to take care of myself internally as well as externally, right? Now
Yeah.
it's common. People only work 4 days a week now,
Yep.
right? They're working from home, so-called home. They're working, but um, I was at a job site walkthrough one day, and the girl, she was sitting by the pool, like on her laptop, and her mother's like, "Oh, she's working from home today." It's like, I mean, you're working. I mean, all right, I won't say nothing if you won't, but yeah, she's on the laptop working from home, laying on the lounge chair. I mean, what a great place.
What a good life. We all be so lucky. I've thought about, as you mentioned, like gardens. I recently became a member of the Dallas Arboretum, and I was kind of just passing it, and I said, "Oh, that looks nice. Let me hop in." And then I became a member because it was like to go a handful of times. It was the same price as just being a member. So I said, "Let me go be a member." Well, then I'm a member, so now I'm like, "Well, I gotta go use it." I love going to the Arboretum. Who would have thought? I never really cared for anything related to gardens or anything like this. I liked maybe going for hikes or being in nature, but it is so beautiful and so honestly nice to see that people have made curated spaces on lots of land where there's, you've got water gardens, you've got, ponds, you've got fish in the ponds, and you've got a beautiful view of the lake, in Dallas, and it's just nice that we did this in the middle of a city. I think that we need more spaces like that.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And by the way, it's very good. It's great exercise, man. Like you working
Yeah,
in the garden all day, it's great exercise. You will sleep good at night. It's a
that's
good
for
workout.
that's for
But
sure.
it's nice to have the option though, right? Like my guys, they do it every day. Every day, it's a lot every day. But you want to go out there on a Saturday and putz around for a couple hours, but to do it every day, hard work.
Now, I guess one of the interesting things is with these jobs, right? It's not like you can just snap your fingers and the space is revitalized overnight. Are you seeing that a lot of people start thinking about this when it's, maybe warmer months and then well, they can use it, but maybe not immediately? Or are you seeing a lot of people, they'll start thinking about it during winter months in preparation for the summer?
Now they should think about it a while in advance because, like we talked about before, it takes time to get permitting and to build a space to schedule it. You can't wake up in April 1 and say, "Wow, I want $500,000 backyard. I want to be swimming by Memorial Day." People don't understand the amount of effort
Process.
that goes into a project like that. The best jobs to do is start it in the fall, get the concrete in, get the pool in, and then plant it in the spring so you can have it in time.
Now, your business is based out of there in New York. Are you just in New York right now? Or I shouldn't say just, but is your business focused out there in New York? Have you done deals outside of the state as well?
Yeah, Massachusetts, California, Atlanta, we're able to, by the way we have the model built up is we'll design it, and then we bring in our trade partners that can hand. Everybody's not great at everything, right?
Sure.
Like there's stonemasons that are good at stone. There's lighting guys that are good at lighting guys. One guy can't do it all, or one crew can't do it all. They have to be specialized, especially when you're doing the higher end work. The quality has to be there.
Now, you mentioned multiple different areas, I mean, multiple different coasts, but also even New York to Massachusetts. How do you scale a business that can be effective across, vast areas and state
Well, because
lines?
they're calling me and they call me in to think. They don't call me in to dig, right? They want me for my vision, not to dig a hole. But I will execute the job like a conductor in a orchestra, right? I make the music, right? I'm able to move all the pieces because the coordination of a project is crucial. The sequencing of a project, so it comes in on time and on budget, right?
Now,
You have to know what you're doing.
when you're finding these highly skilled, I mean, one of the things you mentioned, I was thinking about it, is stonemasons, right? This is probably a skill. I hope it's not a skill that we're losing, but it's definitely a very tricky skill. I like to say, semi-jokingly, but semi-seriously, I say, I don't know what happened. We had these beautiful statues, during the Renaissance period where you got, statue of David, right? And then today I'll see these statues of these people and it looks nothing like them. I said, what happened? So, stonemasons are definitely important. How is it that you're able to have I would say continuity, or is that really not in your purview? It's not your job to find these contractors.
No, no, it's always my job to find the contractors. I mean, if we're in the New York area, I have the same teams for 20 years, right? So I know the team. But if I'm going remotely at all, I'll go out there, a few different times and I'll interview different contractors. I'll go look at their work, I'll vet them, and you can tell. Like, I can tell good work from bad work.
Sure. I think a lot of people on this subject of being able to scale their business. And I'll give you an example. There was a developer that I was talking to from Wisconsin who ended up saying, I'm moving to Florida. And he moved to Florida. And I said, how are you doing your business in Wisconsin and Florida? And he said, well, it's really warm in Florida. I like living in Florida. I still have my office out there in Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm familiar with the area. And so that's how he was able to scale his business, was because he really built a strong base out there in Wisconsin, and he just was tired of the winters effectively. As someone who's from New York, how were you able to scale your business beyond New York? Was it as simple as or I shouldn't say simple, but was it you had people and clients from other areas of the country and you had to adapt to that, or was it a concerted effort that you made to expand your business to these other areas?
A lot of people have summer homes, second homes, third homes, stuff like that. So they have it in other places, right? Colorado, wherever it may be.
So they're coming back to you and saying, "Hey, I've got this home wherever."
Yeah. Can you go to Massachusetts and take care of my summer home? But sure. So they already know you, like you, and trust you. So that's that. Being online has helped with that. A guy from Sacramento found me online, and that's how that became. So, being online and that whole thing does help a lot. You have to do it, but you can't fake it, right? It's work. You just can't post an Instagram story and say, "Hey, hire me." But it just takes time, right, to
I
get there.
do.
So that's how they found me on there.
I do want to pivot a bit, Steve, and ask about scaling a business in general in the real estate space. One of the difficult things that people deal with is you want to, of course, find new people to work with, but you also want to be able to complete projects. And on my level, on the micro level that I'm on, I'm looking at, I want to find infill lots that I can purchase, but I also want to find investors who can partner with me, and we can open up LLCs so we can build on these properties, and it's not all my own money. I can't do one without the other. I can't just buy up these infill lots, and I can't just look for investors, because I got to have both things. And one of the things I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with, is how do you balance that? How do you make sure that you're meeting both ends? You're both finding the clients, but also finding the bandwidth to operate.
That's what I do now, right? So I'm running the jobs. I'm doing the social media. So there's two different hats of the business, right? There's the design, the execution of the design, and then there's the marketing of the business, right? So your question is, how do you scale that? You need
Yeah.
people, right? You need people. So you have to build a good culture, and you have to bring the people in, and you have to trust your people to make mistakes, right? And don't
Now,
hold their hand.
on culture, we talked about this briefly before hopping on here. Culture is, of course, important. It helps, limit turnover and helps keep people happy about working and loyal. If someone was starting a business, whether in your space or maybe a related space within real estate, any advice that you would give them on establishing a culture?
Yeah. Never ask anybody to do something that you wouldn't do or you haven't done yourself, right? The guy in Wisconsin, I'm sure he's a great guy, but you need to keep your finger on the pulse as well, right? You can't be a absentee owner,
Yeah.
right? Especially in the home building business. You have to, I think you need to be there and, cheer the team on. They want to see the owner. You're the face of the business, right? So you need to be the face of you're the brand. Like if you're the infill guy, you got to be not an infill guy, the infill guy, right? You need to be an expert in your space. Like
Yeah, it's
you have
highly
to be
regional.
the guy. Like you have to be the guy.
I
So you
completely
have to be
agree.
the guy for the infill. Like, hey, I got a few bucks. I want to, what do you got? and you have infill lots, right? And then so you'll find the lot. You find the lot. You put together the money, correct? You bring the partners
Yeah.
in. So it's kind of like me. I design it. I bring it. So once you have the lot and you bring the investor in, then what do you do with the property? You flip it or you build it.
So right now we're looking at hopefully, fingers crossed, I'd like to put some modular homes on these properties. Now, granted, we're looking at how we're going to get this done exactly. This is my first time delving into modular homes, but it's a really an interesting space. I actually had a guest on this show who introduced me to this idea, which is you can have homes that look they are identical to, in many ways, even higher quality than stick-built homes because there's more stringent inspections. They'll have garages and all this, and if you're looking at them, they look identical to stick-built homes, but they're like 50 to 75% of the cost because they're built off-site. And
Yeah, modular is huge.
huge, huge. She was telling me too that I didn't know this. I said, "Where are the modular homes in New Jersey?" She said, "Oh, they're out there." I said, "Really? Where are they?" So I said we probably need more of that because I just know home pricing out there is certainly way
It's
more.
not even the home prices, right? So it can only be a certain dimension, right? Because they got to bring it on a trailer, right? So it's got to
Right.
be I forget what it's 16 feet by whatever it is, and they piece it together. What I like about the modular is, um, especially in the Northeast, like the cold, they're building it in a factory. They're not hanging off a scaffold in 8-degree weather,
Freezing.
and it can go up quicker, right? And you don't have to really manage, 40 different subcontractors. So your role should be just the execution of this project. You should be, oh my God, you should find the land, get the money, put the house up, get a piece of either keep it or get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's the game plan. Ideally, we'll see exactly what happens. I was talking actually, funny enough, with an attorney on this show, telling me, well, you really can't. The safer way for you to do it is to have LLCs with them, and everyone gets a
Sure.
unanimous vote. That way, it's not securitized. So I was thinking about that, and then I'm also realizing, there's other ways too where I'm in Texas, so it's kind of a different situation, but lots of vacant land. So I think there's also a rule right now where you're allowed to have multiple dwellings on the same property. So potentially we could have people with all this vacant land. They might have their home on the property. They're not doing anything with the land. I come in and say, look, let me lease the land from you, and in exchange, let me put a modular home on this property. I'll give you a percentage of the rents, and now you get to cash flow from the property, and I get a place to put the modular home. So, a creative way to get a deal done.
Sure. We do like a 99-year lease or something like that.
That's exactly, yeah, I was thinking about it from Home Depot. I was thinking, like, how does these places get their leases? And then one of the people was telling me, well, yeah, but you're not, you're not Home Depot. I said, well, they thought of it from somewhere, so I'm going to see if I can do something similar.
Same thing, right?
Yeah,
But vacant land, it's got to be. I guess it's got a cash flow. It's got the NOI has to work out. Like you can't just put it in the middle of a tumbleweed field either,
yeah,
right?
you can. I mean, one of the interesting things is, so I'm in DFW, and I moved from San Antonio. Dallas specifically is huge. You've got
Huge.
DFW is Dallas, but you've got Fort Worth. I live in a town called Denton, which is closer to Oklahoma than it is to Dallas, driving and distance wise. But it's still considered DFW. So I'm one exit away from a town called Sanger, which is now you're really on the outskirts of DFW. But still, I'm close enough to Dallas that I'm going in all the time. It's definite. I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, 27 miles from Manhattan. I felt way further away from Manhattan than I do from Dallas, and it's probably a similar
How far
distance.
of a drive? How far of it? If somebody lived out where you're thinking about building these homes, how far of a drive is it?
It's about 40 to 50 minutes in the morning, and then at 5 p.m. it'd be about, 90 minutes. So that it's not
Well, listen,
exactly.
it's the same thing. If I wanted to live in Midtown Manhattan, I can pay 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month in rent. If I wanted to live out by Denton, I could pay 3 grand a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's
That's
all
exactly right.
you got to
And
travel.
and that's really the opportunity. So I was never thinking about vacant land or infill lots or anything like this, but I had a bunch of RV people talk to me, really kind of hyping me up on land. And then I'm also realizing, well, where's my experience? I don't really have the experience with RV, but I have the experience with fix and flips. I have the experience with dealing with distressed sellers. I have the experience with dealing with investors who do fix and flips. Well, that's a closer pivot to
Sure.
new builds than it is to RVs. So now we're seeing like, well, who's got the vacant land? Of course, you've got, infill lots that for whatever reason may be fire damage. Who knows why there's an infill lot wherever it is, but what can we do with this? So I'm definitely, interested about it. And I think land in general is going to be hot for real estate investors and for real estate entrepreneurs. And I think that we're going to start seeing more of that. That's kind of going to be in vogue is land.
How is the uh, permit, like, New Jersey? It could take,
Permitting, yeah.
I mean, how is it down there? Is it easy?
So
Seems like it's easier.
I will say that, I guess I don't know if I should say, but it seems like anytime that people are doing fix and flips in general, they're kind of rolling the dice and not pulling permits, at least out here. For putting
Probably.
for putting a modular home on the property, you're going to need permits for that, of course. Now, the difficult thing that I've seen is people, and maybe it's because it's so new, people aren't sure what a modular home is. So when I say modular, they think mobile home, they think manufactured home.
It's like a
So,
swimming pool. I say vinyl pool, they think cheap. You say
right,
modular, it sounds cheap.
right.
Ask ChatGPT what another name you can use for modular. Something a little more
Exactly.
sexier than modular.
And so one of the things that I've been thinking about is like offsite constructions. And but one of the interesting things too is there's actually limited financial instruments to get these deals financed. So if I don't myself own the land, then it will only qualify for a auto loan. I have to get a mobile home loan, which is effectively an auto loan on these properties. So I'm looking at maybe I got to do private money, maybe I got to bring other capital partners in and make LLCs, or who knows.
Have you tried? So you'll say you'll have a homeowner that has a 10-acre lot, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And is it zoned? Do you have separate zoning out there? Like because where we
Yeah,
are, like it can only zone like a zone for R40. I need 40,000 square feet to build a 3,000 square foot home. Is that stringent down there?
I do have to look more into that. I suspect that a lot of these areas that will be an issue as far as the zoning rules and regulations. Uh, that is going to come into play. The people that I've been speaking with specifically will have like multiple acres, and maybe they're going to look at dividing it into three different plots so that we could put in multiple different modulars. But to your point, I don't know. I'm
So
not
so I've done some
on that.
developing too. So yeah, we had to get the approval. So if you took a tract of land, chopped it up, and sell what's known as an improved lot, right? It's approved.
Yeah.
Meaning you don't have to worry about contracts. You don't have to build the modules. You're just putting in the infrastructure, road, sewer, water, and electric, or whatever you have, septic or well, and then you're basically just selling the lots. You can do
We
that
may
too.
do that. We may do that. Now,
That
one of the
that's
things,
that's a cleaner. That's a cleaner thing. And then when you build a home, the problem with building a home is the modular home. Now you're tied to this home for 10 years, whatever the warranty is. Like, but if you're selling the lots, yeah, you won't make as much, but you can move quickly.
one of the interesting things this is funny because this is how regional real estate is. I actually live in an area of Denton where there's been this big subdivision where it looks like they are trying to break ground, and it's been like this for months and months and months. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I've heard maybe they're gonna, you know, default. But the issue is they don't have utilities out there yet. So something is holding it up from getting utilities out there. So as I saw that, I kind of made me scared of it. But these are kind of risks within real estate, right? So if I was going to go and do this, ideally it'd be someplace where already there is some type of connection out there and it's just been undeveloped. And that's at least my play, what I'm looking at. But Steve, we actually are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you, to learn more about to your business and to reach out to you?
Like SteveGriggsDesign.com, the website, bunch of pictures on there. If you want, I'll send you the link to the digital version of our best-selling book called Straight Dirt. It's got a lot of pictures in there of jobs we've done, some tips and tricks, and as everybody knows now, Instagram is the hot item. So at Steve Griggs Design is the Instagram, or they call it IG, huh?
Yeah, you're right. You're on IG at Steve Griggs on IG. Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you, Dylan. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.